Arcangel is a reminder that the colonizer still has some of us in chains. The colonizer has some of us working for fucking free, okay? Period. They have turned some of us into obedient little slaves, and that has to end. That narrative has to end, because Puerto Rico is still a colony, by the way. But this man went to the original colonizer, to the land of the original colonizer, to do what? Right? This is the same oppressor that terrorized our people, that killed, that murdered our indigenous ancestors, that literally exploited us to the point where they have in their fucking churches gold that the Tainos picked with their hands from the rivers of Boriquen, right? Right before the conquistadores cut their hands off for not meeting the fucking quota, okay? That's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a mentality, right? That they no longer have to have physical chains on us because the mental ones are working just fine. Anyway, what I thought of his little stunt on that stage, you know, talking to the people of Spain and apologizing for everything that Spain had done, rather than using, right, words of liberation, because it's not in his toolbox. It just isn't, right? He just sounded like a slave kneeling before his oppressor and thanking him, right, for a scrap of bread after working for hours for free in the rivers of Boriquen. That's what I saw. And I kept thinking about how that's relevant today, because yesterday, in the final hours of the day, a bill passed. PC 310 passed. And it's so important that people understand the gravity of what that means. Because when I say it's not an exaggeration, that this will cause an extreme displacement of Puerto Ricans, that it will cause a lot of destruction of the land, I'm not kidding. It's going to privatize most of the islands, if not all of the islands here in Puerto Rico. And of course, we're going to hear people say that's dramatic. But what did Ricky Rosselló's own people say years ago? That they see a future without Puerto Ricans. Because this is how that future becomes possible. If we don't do something about this, Puerto Ricans are going to live as exiles. They're either going to be servants to the very wealthy here, or they're going to be tourists who can only come here for a short amount of time to spend some time in their homeland. And that's something that many diaspora already experience. That's something diaspora of Hawaii already experience. And so what are we in this moment going to do about that? Community organizers, students, activists have been warning about this for years, because we will lose Puerto Rico permanently unless we do something right now. We can't continue to let politicians laugh in our faces while they auction off the island to the highest bidder. Have we really forgotten who the enemies of La Patria are? Because the greatest threat to Puerto Ricans is not each other. It's the political class inside those legislative chambers. If someone was breaking into your home, would you just hand them the keys? Or would you finally stand up and defend your home?